Hello YouTubers, RogueMonkeyJr here. Now, 2 days ago, EA had their Q1 earnings call with their investors, and in here you always get a lot of interesting information on the franchises that are bringing them a lot of money or that are doing quite well, notably Apex Legends. So I wanted to touch on all the different points that they spoke about concerning Apex Legends and the future of the game. So obviously Apex Legends did quite well when it came out, and then with the launch of Battle Pass Season 1, interest went down maybe a little bit, and then with Season 2, they are saying that it outperformed their expectations with significant growth in daily and weekly active players, and in each season there are in-game events that are additional drivers of engagement, such as the event coming in the next few weeks that will bring new content and deliver one of the most fan-requested features since the launch of Apex Legends. Now this is talking about an event that is coming mid-August that we don't know much about yet, but it's a fan-requested feature, so maybe something along the lines of duos or, you know, game modes that are a little bit more over the top. I'm really excited to see what this special event will be. And Andrew Wilson also said there will be more updates and in-game experiences in the weeks to come for Season 2, and Season 3 is shaping up to be even bigger. All of these elements, the fantastic core gameplay, seasons of new content, and additional in-game events are designed to continually excite and engage the Apex community over the long term, which is obviously one of their, key points is live service and engagement on long-term plans. After that, Blake Jorgensen, which is the COO and CFO of Electronic Arts, talked about how much money they made with each different franchise. I'm just going to skip over all that and switch over to the conversations about esports. So obviously, there's no secret that Apex Legends is shaping up to be an esports main staple, and they say they have the largest ecosystem in sports games, and Apex Legends is going to be a major new addition to the global competitive gaming scene this year. We believe that our games can make competition accessible to everyone with the opportunities to bring competitive gameplay to more of our franchises, and we look forward to delivering for more players, viewers, sponsors, and broadcasters around the world. So that's very exciting for anybody who is a fan of Apex Legends. Then there's a lot of talk about The Sims and their sports franchises. We get over to a question from Colin Alan Sebastian. For me as well, first on Apex, I was wondering more specifically what you see in re-engagement with some of the early players in terms of what has drawn them back into the game, to which Andrew Wilson replied that they have between 8 to 10 million people engaging in Apex Legends on a week-by-week basis, and obviously this is quite a large player base by any measure. It makes one of the probably the most engaging games. We have continued to see great fan sentiment inside that game, and we expect to continue to grow that audience over time. Again, when we think about Apex Legends, we set out to build something with longevity, and at the very core is a great gameplay experience, and we know that long-term engagement involves the ongoing release of new content and the ongoing running of events, both of which the team at Respawn are doing with great success, but the very core of that is a great gameplay experience, and we're building this in a way that we expect to continue to grow and continue to be a meaningful part of our business for a long time to come. So obviously Apex Legends is here to stay, and they have some pretty big plans for the new IP. Moving on to another question by an investor. So he said, I guess on Apex I've got a ton of questions. I'll try to limit it to a couple, but I was hopeful. I mean, given the sort of profile of the game, the competitive aspects of it, esports is sort of a no-brainer. It's great to see you guys start to move forward to your first, I guess, in September, but maybe some more color in terms of how big esports could be in terms of driving engagement, monetization, and maybe overall player feel for Apex. To which Andrew Wilson said, on esports, again, what we see around the esports community more broadly is the most successful titles are those that have very, very large global player bases where social interaction and competition are at the very core of the experience. And again, I go back to Apex Legends is built as a really, really unbelievable, phenomenal game in the first-person shooter category, which has as its core motivation both competition and social interaction. And of course, it has a million-strong global audience, so we feel very good about its appeal and its application to an esport. We've also had a series of events and will have our first competition featuring 80 teams later in the year, which is really cool. Now, to wrap things up, a little bit later in the call, they talk about how Respawn has a dedicated team to Apex Legends and one to Star Wars Jedi: The Fallen Order, and Blake Jorgensen says that they've also pulled teams from outside of Respawn to provide them resources on development if they wish to do so, and he also said that they have a large DICE team in LA, for example, and they have a large live services team in Vancouver, and what we've tried to do is perfect our organization to be able to work long distance as well as in the middle of a studio. And so we've given them the opportunity to pull on any resources they want, and they're very, very conscious about how to make sure they've built the best game, and they use the resources very effectively to do that. So it's pretty clear that Apex Legends has a nice and bright future ahead of it, with esports coming in, events that apparently are happening like in 2 weeks from now, and season content coming out every 90 days if we can base ourselves off of the first 2 seasons, and that Respawn have access to a lot of resources to keep content coming to Apex Legends. So anyways, if you want to read the full earnings call, there'll be a link in the description down below. I went through some of the most important points for Apex Legends. It is quite a long read, but it's great to see where Apex Legends is headed, and that there is such a large player base actually engaging week after week in the game. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thank you very much for watching, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.